The Man Whore Podcast is sponsored by HotMovies.com. Try out some ethical paid-for porn for free with none of those hidden fees or secret recurring subscriptions when you sign up at HotMovies.com/bonus and use the promo code MANWHORE. Now let's get to the show.
Welcome to the Man Whore Podcast.
Shout out to all your real dolls, virtual gals, and imaginary girlfriends. This is Billy Procida, and you are listening to the Man Whore Podcast. Yeah, I'm a big hit with all the imaginary girlfriends out there. Got a strong contingent of imaginaries in my audience. Except we're not really supposed to call them imaginaries anymore. But hey, you know, I've never been known to say all the right things. What's up, everybody? How you doing? I am your host, comedian Billy Procida. If this is your first time checking out my program, this is a podcast where I typically talk to women I've hooked up with about sex, dating, and why we didn't work out. However, this week's special guest is not one of my former flames, although we did share quite a cathartic hug after we opened up to each other when we recorded this thing. Virtual cam girl Ella Darling from cam4.com is on the podcast this week, and I cannot wait to share her with y'all in a bit. I've also, please don't skip the intro this week. I've got something important I really need to discuss with y'all. But of course, before we get to this important announcement, before we get to Ella, you know the deal. Show dates, people. Show dates. Okay. Next Tuesday, June 26th, I'm up in Sloatsburg, New York. For real, people, I actually do want y'all to come out to this show because last week I advanced in a comedy contest I didn't expect to advance in. So I'd actually really like your support so I can make it to the finals. Tuesday, June 26th, Sloatsburg, New York, up in Rockland County. I'm going to be at Characters Bar and Restaurant at 8 o'clock. It's a free show. Then August 3rd, we've got a Man Whore Con stand-up comedy show featuring some of my favorite comedians who have been on this podcast. That's going to be a good time. That is at Lucky Jack's on the Lower East Side. Then August 4th, we've got a live Man Whore podcast. Yeah, it's going to be me, one man, on one stage with 4 of my exes because I hate myself for your entertainment. So tickets will be on sale for both of those Man Whore Con shows next week. But if you're on my mailing list, you're going to get first dibs at these tickets. So make sure you go to manwhorepod.com, sign up for that mailing list. So at least for now, save the dates, August 3rd, August 4th. We got some fun stuff. Also, of course, next Wednesday, June 27th, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, we got another Fan Whore Facebook Live Hangout. Those are like my monthly office hours where I answer your questions. We chit-chat a bit, get to know each other. It's a fun little hour-long hangout. I got a little bit of Man Whore Con news, okay? We've got a Sugar Daddy VIP sponsor, Real Love Sex Dolls. Thank you so much. A little bit about Real Love Sex Dolls. They are one of the top realistic life-size companion dolls in the world. And I was poking around their website, just looking at some of these, and it's almost I'm scared. I would be scared to fuck one of these because I do feel like I would actually fall in love with one of them. They are quite realistic looking, and some of them are making me feel things. Okay, 140 centimeter D cup Dakota. I do enjoy that. Like before the name, before even their cup sizes, it actually says how many centimeters they are. Which is odd because we're Americans. I don't know the metric system. But Dakota, she looks like a fun gal. And not for nothing, the 163 centimeter H cup Mirabella, she looks like the therapist I really wish would take advantage of me. So, oh my gosh, this Tasha one looked totally real. I was like, for a moment, I was like, oh, I think they actually accidentally slipped a real woman into there. No, it was a Real Love Sex doll. Go check their stuff out, reallovesexdolls.com. These things, oh boy. And just a friendly reminder, everybody, I've put a hit out on my nipples. If my Patreon page reaches $1,500 pledged, me, Billy Procida, will get his nipples pierced at ManWhoreCon. And yeah, we gonna live stream the thing. Head on over to patreon.com/manwhorepodcast, throw some dollars down, get us closer to our goal, and Billy's gonna have some barbells. All right. As I alluded to before, I got a little bit of a more serious thing I want to talk to y'all about. So I was supposed to have a special co-host for this week's intro. As a fellow sex podcaster who was going to do some announcements with me and then record a bonus episode for Patreon. He canceled on me last minute a few days ago because the Whisper Network against Billy Procida contacted him, advising him to cancel with me. And from what I can tell, it's the usual network of my critics who have been silently contacting my guests or harassing sex-positive friends of mine in the recent months. Now, this guy used a lot of vague language because he agreed not to share any supposed specifics, but, he was saying that, quote, back channels claim I've, quote, acted unethically. He made it clear he's not publicly denouncing me and isn't sure how fair or unfair this treatment of me is. He's just disengaging. He's stressed about it. He accurately gets that I'm frustrated about it, and he hopes that this isn't all just what he calls a baseless smear campaign. And look, I'll try to keep this whole soliloquy as brief as possible because, look, we have an awesome guest this week, and I want to get to her, and I know many of you are tired of hearing about this. But I'm trying to make sure that there's no claim that I'm trying to hide something from you people with whom I've formed such a beautiful bond. What's incredibly frustrating is that when pressured, he wouldn't share what it is I'm accused of. He was able to say it didn't have to do with my 2015 Twitter meltdown. It doesn't have to do with my ex-girlfriend P. And it doesn't seem to have to do anything with any physical violations. I don't want anyone to think I'm about to Chris Hardwick surprise them, okay? I've been very public that I'm sometimes a huge asshole. There have been, currently are, and will be again, in the future, people that I owe apologies to. But without knowing what I did, I can't actually do anything. I don't know if I need to dismiss, contextualize, apologize for, admit to, or take corrective action on any particular incident. And look, I don't want to see screenshots or know the name of these accusers or whatever just so I could harass them or tell them to keep their whore mouths shut. No, I want to go into my texts, scroll through, and see if I need to say I'm sorry to someone. Because that's something I have done multiple times in the past. I'll just kind of think, I'll be like, I haven't talked to this person for a while. And then I'll look at our last interaction. I'll be like, oh shit, I was kind of a dick. And then I'll just be like, hey, hope you're well. I reread our recent texts and, that wasn't cool of me. I'm sorry. I've owned up to ridiculous things right here on this show. I try not to hide too much from y'all. I've told you that I've picked useless Twitter fights with both men's rights activists and radical feminists. I've been open that my last 2 relationships ended very poorly. I've spent time on this podcast admitting to where I could have been a better boyfriend, which I can tell y'all was not easy to do. I don't hide much, except that one time I cried after calling a disabled kid retarded when I was 11. But, now you know that too. This show was built on transparency. Being honest is really one of the few things I know how to do. I have truthful Tourette's. I don't have many skills other than professionally oversharing. Look, call-outs are super necessary, and I am certainly not above them. But, call-ins are just as needed. By leaving me in the dark about my wrongs and only tweeting vague adjectives surrounding my alleged actions, all you've done is gossip and shout. You didn't change anything. You didn't help anyone. I've said a lot of impulsive things I'm not proud of. Years ago, and some of y'all who have listened to everything may remember this. Years ago, I was on this amazing Tinder date. We talked for maybe 5 hours at a coffee shop. We went for a nice walk and we were excited to go on a second date. Later, she told me she doesn't think she has time for a romantic relationship right now, and she said it has nothing to do with me. I graciously said okay and wished her well. A couple days later, and this is back when Tinder would show you the last login time, I got curious and I looked at her profile to see when she last logged in. Turns out it was that morning. I was annoyed because I thought she lied to me to get out of going on another date. So I sent her this bitchy little text message saying how she could have just said she didn't want to go out with me again and that it feels like more of a rejection when I see you're still swiping and blah, 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 blah. Just like dumb 25-year-old boy nonsense. Turns out she was logging on to delete her Tinder when she matched with someone she went to camp with and that she was just grabbing his number before deleting. Not that it even matters why she was on there. It's not chill to wig out the way I did regardless. And she also told me that my message was creepy as fuck and I should never contact her again. And you know what? I came on the podcast the next week and I said, oops, hey everyone, don't do what I did. That was really bad. I'm professionally bad at dating and sometimes I'm a major asshole. And that doesn't absolve me of any poor behavior, but I'm not selling you one bag of goods and giving you a different one. Now, I thought about sitting here, listing off every single thing I can think of where I said something I wasn't proud of, or argued with someone to the point of being a dick, or, maybe telling certain stories I know are floating out there in the world that are inappropriately incomplete. I thought about just truly 8-miling myself. But I decided against that because I'm not sure that you're that interested. I'm willing to be transparent. This Whisper network is not. They won't say what I did. They won't show proof. And honestly, I think it's because they know that if I saw what it is I allegedly did or said, I'd be able to pull up those text messages on my phone and show what preceded or followed that select interaction. Or they might know that I might be able to show that person was in fact abusing me. Or, and honestly, I think this terrifies them the most. If they said what I did, I might say I'm sorry. And if I apologize, I'm not the monster they make me out to be. So if you, my listeners, my fan whores who I care so much about, if you have a question or a concern, you can email me, manwhorepod@gmail.com. If you got a blunt, direct question, bring it, and I will give you a blunt, direct answer. And if you're nervous to say something to me, because, hey, I get that. That can be maybe intimidating to some people, but you'd like to say it or ask it anonymously, you can email my intern, Mia, at intern@manwhorepod.com. I will not be reading any of the intern emails. She'll just tell me there's something for me to answer. She'll copy and paste, send it over, and she'll be the in-between without revealing your identity. I don't know what else to say other than that I'll continue to be honest with you. And thank you for having patience with me. So that's what's going on with me. And I'm going to try to offset this with, I appreciate the emails I get that are positive. They don't have to be positive, but I appreciate the ones that are positive. Like this one that I got, the subject line is Billy, coolest fucking Billy. And after that little soliloquy, a silly subject line like that, I feel like is needed. Just to cleanse our palate a bit. I get this email, hello from somewhere in the middle of Canada. I've been pondering an email for a while now. I don't know why I'm giving her such a regal voice, but that's what I'm feeling. I've been commuting to your podcast for a few weeks now, and I need to share how it's made me feel so much more comfortable about some life choices my husband and I have been making in the last year. For many years, my husband's fantasy has been to watch me with another man. For many years, I was much too much of a stuck-up prude to consider it. Last year, he started wearing me down, and now that we are done having kids and such, I've been open to starting to explore. Long story short, holy fuck, is it fun and hot! It's evolved into more of a, I get to have sex with friends with benefits whenever I want, and he gets to sometimes join in and sometimes just enjoy the play-by-play remotely. This has rocketed our sex life into a whole new dimension, and our trust with each other has also increased tenfold. Things I never could have dreamed would happen because only fucked up people who have terrible marriages do this sort of thing are happening. Billy, thank you for making me feel comfortable in this path we are on. Thank you for making me see that just because I enjoy something society does not accept, it doesn't make me a bad person or fucked up or on the verge of divorce or any of those things that I feel every day along with the shame. My life is very much a secret, and although I am so very far from wanting anyone to know my secret or even searching for like-minded people geographically close to me, listening to your kick-ass podcast daily makes me feel like I am not alone in this. Always staying slutty, Shauna. Then she included a PS that said titties, and then she attached a picture of a very nice set of titties pressed up against a shower glass door. But hey, the titties aren't the thing that's important here. They're mildly important. They're nice titties. But I'm glad this woman is through my, I guess, mishaps or whatever, or oversharing is having a good time. I'm glad this is, making you feel better, but just remember, I'm just a comedian with a fuck show. I don't know I'm not trying to, change the world here. There's a lot more better qualified people for that, but I'm glad that my show is spicing up your sex life, and I'm glad you're having a good time, and I'm glad you've got such nice titties. It's now time for our Did You Know segment, brought to you by HotMovies.com, one of my new favorite pay-per-minute porn site where you can actually find porn videos of our guest this week, Ella Darling. We're going to give you 5 fun facts about the adult entertainment industry that you may or may not have known. Did you know Herschel Savage was a Navy SEAL who was awarded a Purple Heart and a Bronze Star for his actions in Vietnam? Did you know Spalding Gray, best known for his roles in Stanley Kubrick's The Killing Fields, and as the Doctor in Beaches, began his career in early 70s porno films like Maraschino Cherry and The Farmer's Daughters. I've actually seen The Farmer's Daughters. It's very hot, quite taboo. And now I'm going to have to go look this up to see which one of those men he was. Did you know? And see, we found a thing that I didn't know, but kind of knew about. I like this segment. Did you know actor Eddie Adams has appeared in at least 4 different porn parodies and never once taken his clothes off? He's in it for the acting. An artiste. Mwah. Did you know anal sex requires a lot of preparation, including, but not limited to, enemas, pre-fingering, and eating a particular diet or skipping meals that day? There's just the George Carlin fan of me is like, I'm thinking of his pre-boarding bit where he's like, you get on the, you finger the ass before you finger the ass? How about just calling it fingering the ass? Okay. And finally, did you know the Victorians outlawed depiction of nudity for all but the upper class, who they felt had the moral strength to cope with the images? Prior to that, there were no laws regarding sexual imagery. I mean, I don't know if that thought process is true or not. All I know is I'm quite poor. I'm definitely a plebeian, and I do not have the moral strength to cope with such images. I need lube. I need privacy. I need time. Let's be honest. I don't really need privacy to cope. I guess that's what we call jerking off, coping. Well, you know what? I like to quote unquote cope at hotmovies.com, and you can enjoy 20 free minutes on top of any package you sign up for, including their free trial, when you sign up at hotmovies.com/bonus and use the promo code MANWHORE. Again, that's hotmovies.com/bonus, promo code MANWHORE. Use it, do it, cope. And now for this week's guest, Ella Darling. And she is a darling. This is one of my episodes from my time over at the AVN Awards out in Las Vegas back in January. So yeah, I've been sitting on this one for a while. I feel mildly guilty about it. Ella specializes in virtual reality porn, and she is one of the leading cam girls over at cam4.com. Now, what is very important, as my intern Mia has discovered, is that cam4 is spelled C-A-M, then the number 4, like the numeral 4.com. Because if you go to cam4.com, is a gun wholesaler. So it's a very, very different site. So cam4thenumber.com. We had a wonderful conversation about a variety of topics. It was a very chill, relaxed hangout in her hotel room. We were just kind of chilling on her bed. I think I was sitting on an ottoman. I forget. And it was nice to just sit down and connect with another human being in this virtual reality world, which Ella certainly knows a whole lot about. This is my conversation with Ella Darling.
But I think it might be getting a little bit better. We just had a decent amount of rain recently. But yeah, so we have a drought, we have fires, we have mudslides when we get rain, but at least we don't have snow.
I'm just saying, maybe Mother Nature is saying, "Hey, get out of here! You're not supposed to be here."
Yeah, it's rough.
How long you been out there now?
I've been out there for a little over 8 years.
And you moved there to get into the industry?
Yeah, I moved out there when I was 23 to do porn and also to get married.
Ah,
one of those was a great choice. Yeah, you know.
One and the other, I did look down. It was like that's normally, it's so weird because when I go out and about, like if I go to a bar and I'm noticing attractive women, one of the first things I tend to look for is the wedding ring. What happened with that thing?
Wait, with the marriage. He didn't believe in me. He just kind of told me one day that this company, I was starting a lesbian porn company. And he told me that
as one does.
Yeah. And he told me he didn't think I could do it unless he did it for me and then like handed it off to me. And it was like, that's really sad that you think that. So maybe this just isn't the right choice. So I left and I got into VR. Then I married VR instead.
And you married VR instead.
Yeah.
Is that something you've had to deal with before? People who don't like boyfriends or girlfriends? I don't know how you identify not believing in you.
You know, sometimes, and he was the only person, he was like the only big relationship I had after I got into porn. But yeah, I feel like after a couple of years, people just kind of forget. They forget the things that they originally valued in someone, and they forget the value in general of the people that they're with. Sometimes.
What were you valuing when you made that decision to get into that relationship?
You know, it was really fast. I was 23. I think it was sort of a whirlwind, and it was very exciting. And he was someone I, respected a lot as a friend, and it felt like the right choice. It was fast, but it was fine. We were married for like 4.5 years, so it happened and then it didn't. I feel like any relationship either ends in a breakup or in death, right? So it's really hard to like think about like a successful relationship. Like, what's the successful part?
Yeah, I guess that's the thing we have to define for ourselves.
Yeah.
Like my girlfriend freaked me out recently, and they said to me that, that this isn't permanent, like this isn't going to last forever. And like, I know that, but I was like, we don't need to acknowledge like there's an expiration date. Did you watch the new season of Black Mirror?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. So Hang the DJ, buckets of tears, just, oh my gosh. But then I watched that and I think like, I don't want to see the expiration date. I don't.
No, don't need to know. Yeah, I just feel like when you address that, you're like, once you come face to face with that concept and that idea, it's like, okay, well, how much longer are we going to stick it out? And then it's not conducive to a positive experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing in that Hang the DJ episode also is that I'm always terrified of, so the guy Frank looks at the expiration date. That's his big mistake that jeopardizes the entire existence of the relationship.
Right.
I'm terrified of making Frank level mistakes because I make a lot of mistakes. Literally my brand is being bad at dating. Like I have a podcast because women wouldn't date me.
Okay.
So it was like, I don't want to make that one thing that may seem like so small, but yet is huge. And
right. It's just devastating. Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's really hard to prepare for that because if you knew the thing, if you like are cognizant of the possible consequences of it, you just wouldn't do it. So you can't even see it coming.
Right. Well, this is a good time to say at some point because you're like, oh, are we even recording? I'm sitting right now with VR porn darling Ella Darling. Thanks for chatting with me.
Thanks for having me.
It was weird when I was getting into the hall to go find you at your booth. I had to remind myself, like, fuck, I had to go look you up and remind myself what you look like.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm so used to your avatar as you with the headset on.
I know.
So unless you had the headset on, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to remember what you look like.
Yeah. I don't ever want to change my picture because I love that photo so much.
It's a great photo.
Yeah. Oh, hello. We have a Zach. Hello, Zach.
Hello, Zach.
Do you want to say hi to the podcast?
Hi, podcast. How's it going?
It's going all right, Billy.
Hi,
This is
Bill.
How you
Billy.
doing?
How's it going?
Yay.
Vodka.
You have vodka. I'm so happy. Thank you, baby.
You're welcome.
AVN diet, a steady, beef jerky, and a steady stream of vodka.
Yeah. And some sweet peppers.
And some sweet peppers.
Yeah.
That's all a gal needs this weekend. No,
Yeah. Fuck it. Fuck it.
we'll go back to eating like normal people on Monday.
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I love it. So yeah. What did you do?
Uh-oh.
I opened the Skittles.
Oh, no. That's $1,000.
Do you not like Skittles?
Look at that.
Let me see.
Ooh.
What
You shouldn't have to pay for that, though.
Ew, that's gross.
You shouldn't have to
Ew,
pay
ew.
for that.
Yeah, we'll talk to them. That's disgusting. Did someone jizz on the Skittles?
So yeah, this being an audio medium, but I am fascinated by this. It's he opened the fridge, the mini fridge Skittles, and there's Skittles almost like glued to each other. It does look like jizz. It does.
Unpleasant.
Come in your Skittles.
Oh man.
I hate it when people come in my
All
Skittles.
right.
Oh,
Well, fuck that.
it's only happened to me 3 times.
Oh man.
People jizzing in my Skittles.
Third time was a charm, huh?
Third time, I was just they finally listened. They understood.
Mm-hmm.
No, you jizz on my face, not my Skittles.
Come on, basic understanding here.
Basic stuff here. Well, how do you survive like the weekend like this? So, when I come up to you, I say, how's the day been? You're like, oh, it's been a day.
Mm-hmm.
And what, like I said, I feel like a steady stream of vodka is actually part of like an AVN schedule.
A nice, slow, steady stream of vodka. So like you got to walk the line of like pleasantly buzzed, but not fucked up. And then if I am being responsible, then I won't drink at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's big if I'm being responsible. So yeah, just, there's the Cupcake Girls. That's what it is. The Cupcake Girls have a suite. They're an organization that exists to basically advocate for sex workers, and they provide a myriad of services. So here at AVN, they have a suite. And in the suite, they do your hair for free. They do your makeup for free. All of this is them. I swear to God, you would not have wanted to see me this morning. And yeah, it's just transformative. It's a relaxation suite. There's aromatherapy. They have a separate room where you can get massages and just lay in like an aroma dome. And it's just for performers. It's for the ladies here, and they really take care of us. And I want everyone to know how great they are.
That makes me want to do porn just to get the
Just to get
treatment.
into the
That
suite.
sounds
Yeah.
fantastic.
It's really nice. It's really nice. And the women who run it are just great.
Yeah. And I just got to help with like the headspace of just what AVN is.
Yeah, it's like it's so easy to kind of feel lost and feel very insignificant. And so when you go there in the morning, they're doing your hair and your makeup, but at the same time, it's like there's something really, I think, personally powerful about having someone else fuss over you and having someone else like care and like participate in your day and in your like your morning. And so it sort of gives you a little bit of confidence, and it helps you remember that people give a shit.
Yeah. And if they weren't, say, doing your hair, who would be doing the hair?
Oh, I would be doing the hair, and it would be incredibly amateur and basically just down and wavy and kind of shitty looking.
Because otherwise, like, would you have to bring your own hair makeup person?
Oh God, no! That would be insanely expensive. No, I mean, if we didn't have that, like at conventions where they're not there, I just do it myself. I get my makeup okay, but my hair is a talent I don't possess.
That's a way to put it. That's a very interesting way to say it.
Yeah. So yeah, I love them.
What
They're
other
really great.
things help you stay fucking sane in this environment?
Seeing my friends, getting to hang out with my porno friends. It's like porno summer camp.
Yeah.
So walking around, I see like people I know and love, but I never actually get to see them off set, and I don't really shoot that much anymore. So that means I don't really see them at all. So just seeing the people who share the community with you and who, are just important to you in this space. And that's been good.
A lot of the last few days, I've been recording, I keep hearing the word community a lot, like the porn
Yeah.
community. And I don't think you think about that. When you think porn community, you think Pornhub's community page where you can upload your own shit.
Right,
I don't think you
right.
think about y'all, I don't know, giving a shit together.
Yeah, they don't really see us as sort of a social group that, like, we have our own social structure. We have a lot of things that really set our general experiences apart from a lot of people. So there's a lot of things we relate to each other on that we literally can't really relate to anyone else on. Like the experience of working in porn, the stigma that goes along with it, the challenges that go along with it. There are things that are maybe comparable to some situations in some cases, but the whole package is just very, very unique. So I think we all sort of have this like this secret handshake that, you know, once you're in it, you feel it.
There's like an understanding. So you can go
Yes.
to a porn performer you never met and talk about like a really legit problem. And
they
they'll be like,
relate. Yeah, exactly.
yeah. The boarding school I was telling you about, you know, before off
Yeah.
mic was, it was like almost like therapeutic boarding school. So we had a lot of seminaring, stuff like that. And you cannot talk to someone for 10 years that you were at Hyde with for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
You can jump right back into just that bond because it's a shared experience you all had.
Right.
You have the same
absolutely.
shorthand, the same lingo.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's fantastic. Y'all have organizations. You have it's APAC, right? Is one, and then the Free Speech Coalition is another.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was on the board of APAC for 3 years, but as I really started to transition from primarily performing to primarily doing tech and kind of being behind the scenes, I just didn't think it was ethical for me to stay on the board of an organization that is sort of the voice of performers. I think the people who hold that mic really need to be people who are actively engaged in the industry in a like a ride or die kind of way. And so I stepped down from the board and just applaud silently from behind the scenes.
Fantastic. Yeah. So when you say performing, do you include camming or do you mean just period on camera stuff?
Both porn and camming.
Okay.
So I still do a little bit. I'll shoot with my friends. I'll do some VR camming sometimes, but it's not where I derive my primary income. It's not, I feel like the experience I have is not the average experience. And I think that for an organization like that, you really need people who are in the weeds, just like really relating or having relatable experiences.
So then what's the type of roles that you want to have now? Like, what is it that you want to do off camera?
I'm working in virtual reality. So I've been learning C++ for Arduino. I've been learning Python, and I've been making little fun robotics projects, which is not really any goal-oriented thing. It's just a thing that I'm trying out. I really want to work more in virtual reality. I want to work more on the tech side of things. That's sort of where I'm going right now.
And why do you love virtual reality porn so much?
The thing that I really love about VR is that the sense of immersion and the sense of intimacy that you can experience are really transcendent. And for people who don't have access to relationships, who don't have the social skills or maybe the mobility or the personal like time to build a relationship with another person, it gives you a sort of engaging experience that makes you feel close to another human. And one of the big kind of loftier goals for the stuff that I've been doing is like kind of addressing loneliness and the way that loneliness impacts people. And I think that with this kind of technology, especially the live stuff we do at Cam 4 VR, I feel like with that, you can really change someone's life experience and quality of life by allowing them to connect so deeply with another person.
So even if it's someone hugging a body pillow, but they got the headset on and they think it's a real person.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a little sense of connection.
Need some intimacy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What's your favorite form of of just connecting with a human?
That's a good question.
I told you I'm not coming out here with 10 hacky questions. What's your
Yeah.
favorite position? How do your parents feel about it?
Thank you for fucking
rolling
asking
my
me that
eyes.
shit. I swear to God, Google it. I guess I don't know. I guess my favorite experience is like my business partner is my best friend, and so the stuff we do together, like it's largely business focused. Everything we do is tied to business in some way. But it gives me a sense of connection while also feeling like I'm being constructive and like moving towards a goal. I don't know. I don't really socialize a lot. I don't really leave my house that much.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
What do you do when you're home when you're not coding or camming?
Well, I mean, I do, instead of camming, mostly I'm just doing like behind the scenes work for Cam 4 and outreach and stuff like that. But most of the time I'm doing something that's work. Otherwise, I like to go hiking, I cook, and right now watch Downton Abbey with my roommate. And yeah, I kind of got to do work all the time.
I think a lot of people have just this fantasy of like what a porn star's social life and sex life off camera is.
Yeah.
You know,
the
they
sex
think
life
like,
is awesome. The social life is not really present.
okay, well then that's good.
Mhm.
But I think people just they have like a scene in their head. They think it's parties. They imagine drugs or alcohol. They're thinking orgies all the time, and
it can be. I mean, orgies some of the time, I guess. No, I mean, it certainly can be. And for some people it is. I would never posit that my experience is universal. But when I first got into the industry, I was much more into going to parties and, networking with people and sort of proving myself and getting my name known. But at this point, I feel like people kind of know who I am, if not through my work, then through my advocacy or through the VR stuff. So I just don't really feel the need to go and like, it's almost like being at a go-see, right? When you go to porn parties where there's a bunch of porn directors, you're presenting yourself to them to keep in their mind for later, for casting. And yeah, so I just don't really have the need for that. I don't like to stay up late, and I get really socially anxious around large crowds of people.
oh my god, me too.
Yeah, it's wicked, man.
If I get invited to like a comedian's like birthday party, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh boy, I don't know.
Oh fuck. Well, why did I say yes?
I need
was a different person then.
Yeah, I should have clicked maybe just like everyone else on Facebook. It's just so weird because if I know everyone likes me, I'm fine.
Yeah.
It's any environment where I don't know, where I can't read their minds of like how they feel about me.
Right.
Acquaintances, like a group of acquaintances, fuck that.
No.
Give me a
Yeah.
group of my friends. Give me a group also of total strangers.
I feel that because you never quite know, like, I feel like friendships and relationships are on a spectrum, right? From, oh, hi, I kind of know your name to, oh my God, you're my absolute best friend or partner or whatever. And sometimes you might sort of feel a connection with the person that falls in a different place on the spectrum than they do. And then that discrepancy can be sort of like off-putting for one or both.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, hi, I'm Ella. And they're like, oh my God, yeah, we're like really good friends. And it's like, oh shit. Or
They
oh my
think
God.
we're good friends. Shit.
Or I'm like, hi, I'm Ella. And they're like, yeah, I know, we've worked together. Like, oh shit, I had sex with you and there's video proof. Whoops.
Oh, that's got. Have you like forgotten?
At least twice.
You've forgotten that you had sex with some
At
people.
conventions,
Oh my
I'll see some hot babe and I'm like, oh my God, I want to work with you. And they're like, yeah, Ella, hi. Yeah, we have. Do you remember? It was at that house. We did that thing. It was on the counter. It was uncomfortable. Remember? I was like, oh, you look so different up here, face to face.
How did you save face on that?
You don't. You wicked don't, dude. You just fucking don't. You just accept that, well, I fucked that one up. I'm going to think about that 8 years from now when I'm trying to fall asleep. I'm going to reflect on, this massive social fuck up I just did. And you just deal.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just so awkward when you like, and I feel like that's the thing I get weird about. I don't know if I think I'm more friends. I latch on very easily. If I have like it's something I've had to learn actually doing this show. I've been doing the show like 4 years now. So sometimes if I really connect with someone, I have to walk out and like come down from podcast space in a way and remind myself like, you're not best friends now. You had a great conversation and that is awesome, but remember that.
that?
Like
Really, let's be friends.
let's be friends.
Yeah, let's be friends.
Because it gets weird. Yeah, it's kind of like dropping down from like a subspace. Like it's a whole different headspace when you just put on headphones and for an hour just fucking connect.
Well, especially you're wearing headphones. And so like my voice is going right into your ears.
Normally I offer the guest headphones, but I assume that this weekend all of y'all don't want hair fucked up, so I haven't even bothered asking.
That's a good insight.
Yeah. I may not get women a lot of times, but I was like, I could think of that one on my own.
Yeah, for sure. Do you mind if I make another drink?
Oh, please, absolutely.
Now that we have replenished stock.
And what's weird about that is I've had to learn that lesson like the hard way of learning my boundaries or learning other people's boundaries through my just misreads socially because I'm just a social idiot.
I feel you.
Yeah.
I absolutely understand that. An Australian professor of, I believe, geography. I just did his podcast earlier today about porn as a migrating community and like sort of the social class and group of porn and comparing it to, other other marginalized classes, other groups of people. It was really interesting. He is mentioning a name that I'm sure I'm supposed to know, but I have no idea what it means. I'm doing a podcast is what I'm going to say. Hi, everybody. Live.
We're live scrolling through contacts right now.
Yes. Okay. And I'm also being checked on by someone who's like, well, you have a strange man in your hotel room, so I'm just going to check on you.
Totally fair.
Thank you for that.
I know what I look like.
There we go.
It's-
Oh, you look like a handsome guy.
Yeah, but like handsome guys have like done some of the worst things in history.
That's a fair point.
Scott Peterson sitting in a jail cell looking mad cute.
Yeah. Lordy. Yeah. So when you cheers, you say salute. What's the story there?
I don't know. I'm raised Italian. It's like the one Italian-ish thing that I have. I don't eat the food the way I'm supposed to. I was a real picky eater. So family dinner, like anytime they made something nice, I was the one to be like, ew, I want it plain. I don't want the tomato sauce. Who the fuck was I didn't want tomato sauce? So it was
Did you just eat like raw, like just pasta with water?
with butter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Butter.
Or
is
pizza
amazing.
plain. My burger's plain. Like very, very. My first girlfriend when I was 18 said like I had a beige diet. Like anything that was beige was for me.
Speaking of a beige diet, have you tried Soylent?
Oh, just the word soy though makes me get like.
There's not a lot of soy in it.
I get emotionally exhausted hearing the word soy.
Okay, that's a
What?
lot.
But I've
Let's
heard.
not trigger you.
I've heard of Soylent. What is Soylent?
It's nerd food. It's programmer food. It's a meal in a bottle. It's 400 calories in a bottle. It's got a fuckload of vitamins, so it can actually replace all of your actual meals. So you can live entirely on Soylent.
I gotta figure out how many Weight Watchers points that is.
I think they have the number of points on the site.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But yeah, it's like I have had a lot of times in my life where I either can't eat or choose not to eat, and I get to the point, or I'll forget to eat. I'll either get really nauseous, or I just, I'm in a stressed out place. So I'll get to the point where I don't eat long enough that suddenly I'm ravenous, but nothing sounds good, and then I get sick, or end up in the hospital because I get nausea. Soylent fills a gap for me that regular food has not been able to. It's like, it sort of pulls me back from that brink. It's neutral. It's beige. It's, mildly sweet.
I was gonna say, does it taste good?
It's like, I love it, honestly. I absolutely love it. I've been drinking it every day for over a year now, and I don't get sick of it. I think it's wonderful. It's really done a lot for me.
Right. I mean, is food like some sort of a struggle for you at all?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I've had body issues for most of my life. Believe it or not, porn actually helped decrease those issues. Like, I see all the different body types in porn and how, like, everybody can have a fan base. Everybody, no matter what you look like, someone's jerking off to you. And also, like, a lot of the bodies that are really cherished in porn are very different from, runway and glamour modeling, which I did before. So when I was doing runway stuff, first of all, people are very catty and tend to be very adversarial, and you're constantly comparing yourself, and it's just like this race to the bottom of thinness, which, can be very unhealthy and very damaging.
Yeah.
So yeah, doing porn, it's very much different. People are jerking off to you. They're not, using you as a coat hanger for their fancy dresses.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really helped me a lot. But yeah, I've struggled with that. And also just general, like, I have some kind of weird nausea disorder where the doctors don't care enough to figure out what it is, or don't know enough, or fucking whatever. American healthcare is so great. But I just know that every once in a while I have to go to the ER and get 2 IVs and a shot of this anti-nausea drug called Phenergan, and then I'm fine. But between Soylent and weed, I have been able to avoid experiences like that for years now. And I absolutely credit those 2 things.
It's fascinating because a lot of people would say like, oh, porn gives us unfair body standards. And
Well,
it's
there
like,
is that too. Believe me, especially I've been doing this since I was 23. I'm 31 now. I'm like, seeing yourself aging and nude in permanent media is a challenge. And there's certainly that. There's certainly, when you get cast with this young, tiny 18-year-old and you're like, well, I didn't feel bad about myself before. It is challenging. And I would never want to imply that, we're free of issues, or especially when your self-worth is tied to your success in your job, and your job is dependent upon your naked body, you can get into a fucked up cycle. And it's very easy to sort of fall into unhealthy behaviors and thought processes. And so that's something that I make an effort to really try to avoid, because I've looked at pictures of myself when I was like 23 and 24, and it just, at the time I thought, I should probably lose a few more pounds. But when I look at these photos, it's like, oh honey, that's that was not good. It wasn't cute and it wasn't healthy. It's just like my mental illness is being broadcast through my rib cage, which is showing through my skin. It was not good. So yeah, it's a struggle.
Yeah, I look at pictures from when I was 24, and I was still always like, maybe I was like 5 pounds away from whatever my goal weight was at the time. And I look at that picture now, I'm like, oh, you know what? I would kill just to have that body back.
I know. I relate. Ugh. I relate completely. And so that's the thing. I try to remind myself that, like, here's how I feel about me 5 years ago, 10 years ago. In 5 or 10 years, I'm going to wish that I had this. So let me take a minute and cherish and appreciate this, because I'm always going to be wishing that I had what I had 5 years ago. So while I have it now, let's try to find the good in it and find something to appreciate, and, you know, just going through some positive mantras.
Yeah. The fashion industry is like starting to try to get more like inclusive about body sizes, but no, who would have thought that like porn, you know, a lot of people they don't attribute a lot of like social progression through porn, but like you said, you see all the bodies, everyone's can have the fan base.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in a way, you know, but porn is plenty body positive, so long as you find the type of porn you're doing. You
can find a niche anywhere. The more atypical your body type, or the farther you are from like the median of conventional attractiveness, the harder it's going to be. So it's not going to be easy to be, you know, to be coming into it as a niche body type. In any sense, like even when it comes down to like tattoos, like I have a bunch of tattoos and it makes it not as easy, but you can find a place, you can find a fan base, and you can create a brand that is successful no matter what you look like.
Has your brand changed from, say, when you were 23, 24 to up? I'll say now, but I taking into account that you're not doing as much performing.
Yeah, absolutely. So it took me a while to kind of find who Ella Darling was, right? Like, I know who I am, and I know that this persona is an extension of me, but which parts of me am I willing to share with the world? Which parts of me am I, you know, do I want to stake a brand on? And which parts of me am I going to keep private for myself and my loved ones? And so, you know, at 23, I feel like I was a lot more naive, but I was a lot more open. So I think my brand and my persona was a lot more like kind of youthful. Moving to LA, leaving a job as a reference librarian, living in a town where most people dress like toddlers with permissive parents. I got to LA. I didn't have to work, you know, in a professional setting. And I'm like, I dressed like a doll. I would wear like this dress that looks like Raggedy Ann. I would wear like a bunch of owl things and a bunch of animal things. And, it was very young and cutesy. It was like, a shut-in Burning Man kind of style, I would say. And now I'm a lot more reserved, a lot more, I feel like Ella Darling is more like a tech oriented person. I very much cross over into both worlds. So I
always wears a headset.
Always wears a headset. But so I speak at conferences, at VR conferences and tech conferences all around the world. And I also speak at porn conferences. So I sort of have, you know, my feet on both sides of this boundary between them. And, so I feel like now it's a lot more, intellectual, a lot more tech oriented, a lot more, like kind of like dude broy nerd dude appeal.
What's that look like? I forgive me, I have not seen a lot of your work. It's sometimes weird if I have to do research with lotion.
Oh yeah,
because I'll be like, I should watch this scene, but then I'm like, but now I'm horny, and this is. And I'm not going to write as much if I do that. I'll be like, you know what? Okay, fine. I'll jerk off, and then I'll write, and then I'll jerk off, and then I'll be like, I forgot what notes I thought in my head. So
you need to just record yourself and then go over it.
So what does tech broy Ella Darling look like? What's that kind of porn look like?
You know, I guess the porn itself is maybe not changed that much, except I did boy girl for a little while, which I didn't do for the first 4.5 years. Oh. I did it for like a year and a half, and then I'm just not fucking straight enough for that.
You're not straight enough. I mean, well, how do you identify?
I am pansexual, largely interested in women. With men, I tend to be more monogamish. So like, if I'm really into a dude, I'll generally at this point in my life just want to hook up with him in terms of like male partners, but I'll fuck all girls all the time. And when I have a female partner, typically, or so far, it's usually been like open relationships where we're very supportive of each other and we encourage each other, and it's a very strong partnership, but it's just not exclusive. So yeah, I can find something I love about every woman that I fuck in porn, and I can find something that I could kind of take or leave.
With the
any
dudes. It's like you're not necessary, but like I can find something redeemable.
You'll do in a pinch.
You'll do. That what's your how do you feel about dudes? He'll do. Wow, that's
But yeah, so like I find one person who like I really connect with and sort of attach to, and honestly, like I've been in positions where like I've had that guy, and it, you know, for various reasons wasn't necessarily exclusive. And so I went on a fucking trampage. And for a while it was like I was just trying to find, like, to prove to myself that there's equally good or better sex out there than this one person but every single time it was like that was good. But then there's that other thing that he does, and it's like this whole like grab bag package of like really good sex.
what's that other little thing that a guy can do to stand out with you? Everyone listening, fellas, take notes. Take out your pens. No.
Kindness and intellectual, like,
stimulation.
yeah, like the person that I'm involved with right now is a lot smarter than I am, which is something that I say with humility, but I'm not like shit talking myself. He is objectively brilliant, very, very smart. And that's what I am attracted to. And then also you have to be able to put up with the fact that I'm going to make really stupid jokes and puns while we're fucking. Like,
Oh, you're awesome. You're great.
like sometimes we'll be fucking and I just like can't help it, and I'll like make some stupid crack, and then I get on a roll and I can't stop, and then like I do this weird thing with my face so I don't laugh. Like I'm just like sitting there trying to
And he's still trying to stay hard while you make whatever face that
he's
is.
laughing while he's fucking me. He's like, I know you're thinking of a pun right now, god damn it, stop it.
I love laughing during sex. Like having fun with
too.
that is great. And for me, having a partner who can be like consistent with some sense of humor
Yeah,
is so key and crucial.
Yeah, you need that, you know? Like sometimes, here's the thing. When you have a partner or boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever flavor you go for, you're gonna have some real fucking tough times, right? Over the course of your relationship together, especially if it's a long one, you're gonna have times where things suck, where you have to have hard conversations, where you have to face things that are challenging. And if you can do it with humor and with respect, I think it just makes everything a lot better. When you can find the humor in shitty situations, both between the two of you or just with the world, like you against the world, I feel like it's just easier to move past things. And I have 3 core tenets with my current partner that I'm fucking, and it's trust, respect, and communication. Like those are the 3 things I demand. And I cannot abide not having those 3 things present. Like, if what you're going to tell me is fucking terrible and it's going to break my heart or piss me off, I would much rather have that than be happy and ignorant. So those are the things that we sort of hold dear.
What do you mean by that last one?
Well, like,
As in, you'd rather have something shitty but honest rather than something fake and nice?
comfortable. Yeah, exactly. Like, I can deal with pretty much anything as long as you're communicating with me with honesty and we're respecting each other. Like, I feel like with those 3 things present, there's not much you can't overcome.
Communication's so key. Key. My present girlfriend, the communication's like really strong, and I think sometimes like they don't trust that I respect them.
Okay.
And it's hard because I am so dumbly honest. Like, I don't know how to lie. I'm honest to a fault.
Yeah.
If anything, like I say all the things I'm not supposed to say
Like
because I don't know. Like I'll just the dumb, stupid example is if you ask me if your ass looks fat in a pair of jeans, and it does, like I will tell you, but only because you asked me to.
Right.
It's. I mean, I got no lessons on social cues for a better part of a decade that I don't know. I don't know how to like say the right thing. I just know how to say what the honest thing is.
See, and it's tough because I think it really depends on the person if they want honesty or if they want you to build them up. And I think one of the things that I do is if I am asking you a question and there is a right answer, I will try to communicate that, or I'll admit that, like, I'm asking you this, but this is what I need to take away
Give
from this.
me a hint, right? It's
Yeah.
like, just nudge me in the right direction.
Yeah.
I can play along, but if I'm not a mind reader.
Yeah, exactly. And you can't expect people to be.
Yeah.
My God, my phone has been ringing. This is like the longest it's been ringing and not gone to voicemail. My landlord is calling me.
Your landlord's
My
calling?
landlord is calling
Everybody
me.
blowing up your phone.
Everybody wants a piece of this.
Well, I
know.
mean,
I'm
obviously,
sorry
clearly,
I keep
look at you.
interrupting your podcast with like, oh, my friend's here. My landlord's calling. Oh, I'm just gonna answer this text real quick so they know that I'm safe. Like,
Yeah, but at least your interruptions are interesting. They're like, hey, can I make you another drink? Or it's like a guy who's got a funny line to say.
yeah.
And I've had a couple, and not often, but sometimes, I've had guests who are on their fucking phone. I was like, what are we on, a bad first date? No, get off the thing. This is... I don't know how you think of this. This is my job. Like, this isn't like a fun little hobby thing we're doing. So
that's weird.
yeah, it's so strange. And then it takes me out of it,
Yeah.
of course, because now I'm like, how are we going to connect if
Right.
your mind is on the phone? Because this podcast doesn't really, the way my show is, it doesn't really work if it's not
conversational.
connected.
It's about like it's engaging. This is so much fun. I'm so glad I'm doing this with you, and I'm also so glad that it's this chill, just sort of like us fucking chatting.
Yeah.
And like you said, you're not asking me about fucking porn positions or like, oh my god, the fucking questions, dude.
What are like your least favorite questions to get at these interviews? Because to give people an idea of what AVN is, and you said it while we were walking up here, you're doing interviews all day, which for me, I have to keep in mind. I have to contextualize this so I don't take things personally, and so I don't accidentally just piss someone off.
Right.
Because if I was going to LA and I was just casually hanging up to do an interview, it'd be very different than here at AVN, where you're doing maybe a dozen, 30 interviews in a weekend.
Like 500 million.
Yeah, just a ton. And a lot of them probably same questions.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Lately, because I've been getting more press and like I have a publicist, it's Star Factory PR, Tanya Tate. She's such a baby.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So I have her.
they follow me on Twitter.
And she handles it. She handles a lot of things. So she just tells me, okay, this time you're going to be here, you're going to be here, you're going to be here. And because I've been working with her, I work with her every January when I do these shows. I've sort of gotten to know some of the people in the press room, where I have this sort of social proof from other people in the press room where like they know who I am. So lately I've been getting better questions and better interviews. But sometimes, people just, they're doing their 20 questions and they whatever format they're doing, it's just fine, whatever. But the questions that I fucking hate. So I wanted to be nice before I say this, because if people
Don't
ask
you
it, I
dare
go,
be
"Hate
nice,
you."
Ella, darling. Don't you dare.
What's your ideal penis size? Like, that's objectifying and kind of rude. And also, I don't know. I'm a girl. I'm taught that 5 inches is like totally 7, so anything about penises or like genitalia. One guy, it was a tech interview, and bless his heart, he was so sweet. He was very young. He was new to like sort of this tech podcast. And like, I'm there to talk about technology and the shit that I'm developing. And his first question was, do I have a name for my vagina? It's like, yeah, it's called a vagina, maybe a vulva, depending on where. Like, really, dude? Of all the things you want. And he was, he was so nervous. And I told him, you can ask me anything. So it was, I had some responsibility there. But so anything about fucking body parts, like, dude, watch a porno.
Yeah.
Like, or what's my favorite sex position? Like, fucking, why? It doesn't matter. Just watch the fucking scene and see what you like. Let's see. I'm less of a fan of how did you lose your virginity, because I feel like many people lose their virginity when they're teenagers, like younger teenagers. And I feel weird speaking in a pornographic context, but having sex as like a 15-year-old.
It's like talking about a minor.
Exactly.
And you're the minor.
Exactly. And I just have some mixed feelings about it. So I'll talk about it in like a relational way, like what was the experience like, but I don't want to talk about I don't want to facilitate people imagining me being 15 and having sex. Like, if you're thinking about it right now, you stop it. You knock that off. You knock that right off. Gosh.
Frank, put it down.
Come
I
on,
see you,
dude.
Frank, and I know what you're doing, and it's not okay. It's not okay.
Someone named Frank is listening to this, and he is looking around like...
He's Googling for 15-year-old Ella Darling pictures, and that's not acceptable, sir.
it's
Not at all.
and yeah, just that kind of shit,
And I find that stuff so hacky. Like, it's not that I'm never interested in what's your ideal penis size if you have one, if it comes up in conversation.
Exactly. I like organic conversation. Like, any of these questions, I'm not going to be mad if I get asked. It's just like...
Those questions come up in organic conversation. If you're with your girlfriends or who, just friends in general, sometimes that shit just comes up.
Yeah, you just talk about just like the ideal penis.
Yeah.
It just comes up.
Yeah.
No, so yeah, there's that stuff, or like, Oh, what's your favorite sport? That I get asked that sometimes in like the fucking, if it's not played on a broomstick, I don't know anything about it. Like, I do not fucking know. If you think I'm the sporty type, you're wrong, honey. Like I'm writing Python for fun. I'm like building robots for fun. I don't know I don't fucking know.
No big
that
deal,
shit.
but I did once. I was once a commentator at the Quidditch World Cup. So no big deal
okay,
here.
wow. You're not just gonna drop that bomb and walk away from it. Please tell me more.
I think it was like the year after I graduated college,
Yeah.
and a comedian, Eitan Levine, who by the time y'all hear this, you'll have listened to his episode. He wrote did you see the Hamilton porn parody?
Oh yeah.
He came up with the idea.
That's cool.
He pitched Woodrocket the idea, and then they made it. So he wrote the porno.
That's awesome.
But he's a comedian. He's just some comic. And
Okay.
he hit me up. He's like, hey, they're doing the Quidditch World Cup in New York City. And this guy asked me to get a bunch of people to commentate because it's like all, I don't know, it's like a big bracket style type thing. So there's a lot of games going on different pitches. And so I got to like commentate on like, I don't know, like probably like 4 games or so. It
That's
was
so cool.
watch like people dressed as golden snitches run around.
That's awesome.
So I got a free broom.
What's the broom like?
I actually have to go find it because I think it's somewhere at my mom's house. But it's a cool broom. Like it looks like a Quidditch broom.
Amazing.
And I got it because I'm commentating a game and a snitch from a different game, a different match, runs up to the commentary table, drops a broom in front of me, and then goes like shh and runs away.
Oh,
So it kind of felt like magic to
that
start.
was magic.
Yeah.
That broom chose you.
It did.
Like a wand.
And then I'm leaving after the day. It was like day 1 of games. So day 1's done, and I'm walking out, and one of the people who works there, I think it might have even been A-Town, but someone says, "Hey, you can't take the brooms." I was like, "Oh no, this is my broom."
Oh yeah.
And he said, "Did you buy it?" I said, "It's my broom."
Yeah.
And
it
I
was
just
a
kept
gift.
walking. Yeah, I was like, "It's my broom." So and bye.
That's cool shit.
Because
man.
those things retail for like $120
Jesus,
for a
you're
broom.
admitting to class something felony.
I don't think
Interesting.
I think I knew someone stole a broom and I just walked away with it.
Okay.
But I think statute of limitations is out
You're
on
just
that
an
one.
accessory. That's fine.
But it was fun
That
watching
sounds
people
cool
like
as shit.
pretend to be
That sounds
flying.
amazing. I love that. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, if you ever see Quidditch World Cup like in your neighborhood, in your like local city,
Oh, I'll
go
have
to
to
it
go.
because holy fuck is it fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So, but I'm surprised people ask like what sport you like.
Here's another one. What are your measurements? Bitch, I don't fucking know. And also, like, I'm not going to bust out a tape. I do not need the dysmorphia that's going to follow taking my measure. Are you making
What are you
me a
gonna do?
dress?
What are you gonna do with the measurements? You're not
Yeah.
making a dress.
Yeah, you don't. How do you even conceptualize that? Like,
You tell me 36, 24, 36. I know that's supposed to be hot. I don't know what it looks like.
Yeah, and why? Like, why do you fucking care? Or what's your bra size? Like,
That's that one I do. At least I can do something with it.
because you can visualize what
Yeah,
that is.
yeah. I get an idea.
Yeah, like I don't fucking know. Do you mean like Nordstrom or Victoria's Secret? Like there's such inconsistency in bra sizing. And also, I think that people don't understand the way bra sizing works. That like you can be an A cup and a B cup if you just change the band size. And it like you can fit multiple sizes and like usually or many people can. So it's like, man, if you're buying me lingerie, we'll talk.
Yeah,
But otherwise, why the hell do you? This is just filler. This is bullshit filler.
yeah. And it's because you're too scared to try to, I guess, like connect or like. I mean, not for nothing. Sometimes it's the outlet's fault because the outlet, it's like, it's, especially when it's like online print, then, oh, well, we're going to just format it like it's question, answer. We're like, don't do that shit. I used to interview comedians for a website about comedy news, and we didn't do that. Like, I would have one of these types of conversations, transcribe the motherfucker, and put that up. And that was always way more interesting than like, let's ask Pete Holmes 10 questions.
Yeah. I feel like it's the iceberg lettuce of questions.
Yeah. And also some of these are just super fucking loaded questions because you ask like what are your measurements? Cool. How do you know they're not struggling with severe body dysmorphia or eating disorders?
Yeah, exactly.
How'd you lose your virginity? Oh, dude, are you walking into a possible bomb on that
I
one?
know that could be incredibly traumatizing.
How'd you lose your virginity? I got raped. Ooh, I have no just segue out of this.
Yeah, like we give, performers give so much of our sexuality to the public. We give so much of ourselves that like, why do you have to demand more? If I wanted like, and you know what? Some people are totally happy talking about it. And it's just a thing for me. It's like, it's weird for me. Sometimes it's not for everybody. That's fine. Some people are cool with it, but it's just like, why do you have to demand more sexual availability when I'm already like, you can Google my butthole. But I have a little something.
That's like just going to nobody. You can Google my butthole.
You can Google my butthole. Okay, I just need to make sure I'm fucking on my phone again.
It's okay. I know. Especially if it's the chick check or a person checking in on you, like I totally get that.
Yes. I think I have to be in a press room soon.
Tell me, what time do you gotta be there?
Let's take a little peek here. God damn, I don't want to leave this room right now.
I mean, you're good on you for fulfilling all the obligations. My plane landed on Wednesday, and immediately I got a text being like, "Yeah, this person does." Oh,
I gotta be downstairs.
okay, fuck. Can you do 5 minutes?
Yeah, you know what? Can we pause for just a sec?
We can pause for a second. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's pause for a sec.
Time for the fan whore appreciation moment. All right. This is the part of the podcast where I like to thank some of the members of my fan whore community on Patreon. Patreon is the best way to support the Man Whore podcast, help keep a roof over my head, get access to exclusive bonus episodes, and be a part of some really super secret fun fan whore communities on Facebook and Kick. Right now, I want to say a thank you to Daniel Hammond. Go Lions! Right? I think that's your team. Lions. I don't know. All I know is both my exes come from Lions families. Go them and go you. And then thank you to Christian Allen, who is from my favorite place. I love you, Orlando. Okay, that might have gone on a little longer than needed. I hope I don't get sued. Thank you, Christian, for your support and for your pledge. And you too can become a member of my fan whore community and support the Man Whore podcast for as little as $1. All you got to do is go to patreon.com/manwhorepodcast and make a pledge. And just to remind you, if we hit $1,500 pledged by August, I will get, because I'm a man of my word, I will get my nipples pierced at ManWhoreCon and live stream it to the world. If you've ever wanted to see me cry, go over there, throw down $1, throw down 10. Hey, throw down 100. So again, patreon.com, that's patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. But now let's go ahead and wrap up with Ella Darling. I'll basically take it as like the knock is the...
Yeah, but we can... Oh, I'm so glad we can organically wrap up.
Cool. Well, I keep going on we were saying that some questions just are fucking time bombs. You don't know what they're loaded questions.
They're loaded questions, and like, here's what I like. Here's what I really, really like. When people interview me and they say, if there's a question that you just don't feel like answering or you don't really have a good answer to, we'll pass it and we'll edit it out. Or when they go over the questions first and they're like, okay, just let me know which ones you want to answer. And they have a selection. So, for some people, they really want to talk about when they lost their virginity and they really want to talk about penis sizes. And other people might really want to talk about like how they created their stage name or what their favorite cocktail is. Like, give me a selection. And if I have something interesting to say about it, then I can provide that. Mm-hmm. And if it's like vodka soda, why? What? It's like nobody gives a shit. Yeah. So I like that.
Yeah, and again, it's it's fine like go in with an agenda, because I think some reporters they're like, okay, well, I know I want to get these things. It's fine to go in with that, but sometimes, dude, like it's just not going to work. Like I talked to Ginger Banks today. One of the main reasons I wanted to talk to her initially when I was first pitched her by her publicist was she cams, but like her sister cams too, and sometimes has done some cam things with the sister. I was like, obviously, all I wanted to do was like, tell me about camming with your sister. We didn't get to it. Like, yeah. I brought it up because the sister was in there most of the time, then like left. I was like, oh, so your sister just left. I thought that was a seg. And we got it like, there's like 2 minutes of something, and then went back in the thing they were more passionate about. I'd way rather you talk about something you're passionate about than something I'm passionate about, and you're kind of like, meh.
Yeah.
And I think that's just such a fault of people, and they miss out on such great conversation and answers and content because of it.
You're so right. I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the things that come out, because they come out organically, that you would never think to ask, because how would you know? Those are the things that I think are most interesting, because those are the things that people don't tap into, because like, well, I'm not going to tell you about it because you didn't ask me about it, and I don't want to just like interject. But yeah, as a matter of fact, I was in a circus sideshow or fucking whatever,
Ah,
Whatever they
fuck!
do.
How did I miss
See,
that?
I just interjected it. I
Tori,
just did
God
it.
damn
I
it!
just
How
did
did you
it.
not find that in your research? No, it's okay.
It's a hidden part of my past because
Next time I'm
reasons.
on the West Coast, I'm gonna have to do a follow up and find out about
yeah.
Circus Sideshow.
Oh yeah.
I gotta do it when you're less press heavy.
Yeah.
Well, I know you're pimping Cam 4 cams, and I
Yes.
know we're basically the time is up when we hear a knock at the door.
Yes.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about Cam 4 and about the VR porn that they do there, and where people can find you.
Okay, Cam4 is a really cool cam site. It's a freemium site, so you can watch cams for free. You can watch Cam4 VR for free. But to really get the best of the experience, you want to get some tokens on the site. And it's sort of like a crowdsourced sex experience. So a performer will set like a goal, like a number of tokens they want to reach and what they'll do at that goal. And then like have like other things they'll do for like, so at 500 tokens, I'm going to do this cool thing with my butt. But, for 15 tokens at a time, I'll do a cool thing with my boob. And like, as people watch, like people tip small amounts so they get a little taste of things. And then when everybody has, like when a lot of people have chipped in and they hit that goal, then you get this extra new thing. And so that's sort of what Cam4 is. It's very inclusive. It's very intersectional. There's anything that you're into, you can find it on Cam4. It's very exhibitionist. And Cam4 VR is an extension of all of that. So it's the only VR live cam platform available right now, based on the first ever that me and my business partner made. I'm the world's first VR cam girl. But Cam4 VR is really excellent. If you have a VR headset, you should definitely check it out. If you don't have a VR headset, you can still watch those performers on the site. You can click and drag and see their whole bedroom. But Cam4 is just great. I really like working for them. I put a lot of time and research into the cam site I wanted to work with my VR platform. Who I wanted to approach, who I wanted to talk to. And I love Cam4 because they're big supporters and advocates of performers. They have behind the scenes, they have like my friend Nikki Knight is a cam coach. She's the cam coach. She's a head cam coach at Cam4.
There's a cam coach?
There's a cam coach, and they have like a
Does she do
program.
camming herself?
She is a cam performer.
And then she also coaches.
But she coaches, so she's been there. She knows what it's like, and she'll help you, she'll answer questions. She'll help you sort of make sense of things if you're having a hard time, if you're struggling. She does regular coaching sessions where performers can just come and watch and talk to her and interact with her. And she gives you new tips and things, here's something you might not think of to do that'll, give some diversity to what you're doing and make it more interesting.
When
She's
I was
fantastic.
camming in college, I could have totally used that.
Yeah, and we
Damn.
have male cam coaches, we have female cam coaches, we have multiple languages.
I would just be worried that the male cam coach would be like, well, first lose 10 pounds and then let's work.
Sweetie, they would never. They would never. But yeah, they more languages than I can even remember right now. But there's a lot of different. So it's very accessible and it's very performer focused. The entire mission statement that really sold me on them is they do what's called a content centric strategy, which means the content is the performers. So it's centered around performers. It's centered around helping them build a brand and helping them feel successful and be successful. And then, when they're happy, everyone else is happy. So I love that about Cam4. Cam4 VR is really awesome. I'm going to be expanding it this year and adding new performers and new cameras and new ways to interact. And it's something I'm very excited about, very passionate about. And I genuinely do like this company.
Fantastic. And where can people find you specifically?
Twitter and Instagram. I'm at ELA Darling. Ella Darling.
Awesome. Well, Ella, thank you so much. Next time I'm out in you're LA based, right?
I am.
Next time I'm in LA, we should definitely do a follow up where
Yes.
we won't have all the hubbub of AVN.
Yes.
I would love to talk more with you.
I'll be so much more boring then. It'll be great.
I can't wait to be with boring Ella Darling. But
Fantastic.
until now, exciting Ella Darling. Why don't you say
Yay.
goodbye to everybody?
Bye, sweethearts. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for listening to me talk at you.
Oh, that was wonderful. Oh, I really enjoyed chatting with Ella. I'd really like to get together again with her and talk some more. I'd really like to learn some more about virtual reality porn. It's so weird. She's a VR cam girl. That's like her thing, and we did not cover it at all. Very strange. So obviously I'm going to have to talk to her again. Again, you can go check Ella out on Twitter and Instagram at Ella Darling. That's ELADARLING. You can watch her webcam with your preferred VR device at cam4.com. Again, that is CAM, the numeral 4.com, unless you are looking for a firearms wholesaler. then you go to the other Cam 4. As always, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at @TheBillyPresida. Go give me a follow, give me a shout out, use the hashtag ManWhorePodcast so I can see what you're saying about the show. Go like our Facebook fan page. We've got that populated with all sorts of fun content over there. And as always, you can email me your comments, your questions, your titty pictures over to manwhorepod@gmail.com. And on a more serious note, if you want to ask me something or say something directly that you would like to be more anonymous about, you may email my intern Mia at intern@manwhorepod.com. She will pass along your message and leave out your name and contact info. And last but certainly not least, ManWhoreCon is upon us. You can still go get your weekend pass and join me and your fellow fan whores for a fun-filled, sexy, sex-positive weekend of events here in New York City, August 3rd through 5th. Head on over to manwhorepod.com/tickets. Get your weekend pass today. Start making your travel plans tomorrow. Next week, we've got a wonderful episode with my friend and fellow stand-up comedian, Margot Reese, talking about her very fresh, very recent transition, both into womanhood and into being a professional dominatrix to pay for said womanhood. Really fun episode. You're in for a treat next week, but until then, stay slutty.